the News Channel 5 network, this is MorningLine with Nick Beres.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on Morning Line. Nick Beres coming to you on a Tuesday. A good show on tap for you. This is a show that we promised you we would do, as we try to do as fair a job as we can, covering one of the key issues right now facing the city of Nashville. And among other things, I think this is near the top of the list. It's dealing with traffic, transit problems, transportation, and the question of how to go about doing that. As you know, there is a large plan on the table for creating a huge multi-billion-dollar transit system here for the city of Nashville. And, I think most people agree something needs to be done about transportation. The question is what to do, how to do it, and what to spend. And there's some critics of this plan. Now, we did one program already where we had representatives on who are supportive of the transit plan, when we promised that we would also do the other side. And there are many people that have some serious questions about it. One of them joins us this morning. We're going to be opening up the phone lines for you. Jeff Eller is with us. Good morning to you.
Thanks
for coming on. And he's involved with No Taxes for Tracks. Is that what it is?
No Tax for Tracks.
No Tax for Tracks. And appreciate you coming on. We're going to open up the phone lines, 737-7587. By the way, today we're also going to be streaming live on newschannel5.com on Facebook. If you want to message us here, I'll be following it as well as we go along the show there. So let me start with you first. Do you live in Nashville? Are you outside the area?
I commute to Nashville to help on this effort.
Good, and I like it. You said commute. So what is your take on, just up front right now, aside from this plan, on the traffic and the issues that face the city right now? Do you think there is no problem? Do you think something needs to be addressed? Or do you think, yeah, something needs to be done, it's just a question of what?
We think there's something needs to be addressed, but not with this plan. This plan would give Nashville the highest sales tax of any major city in the U.S. The routes that have been picked for the light rail benefit downtown, not a lot of other people. Plus, we don't think really it helps fix the problem. This is a regional problem. It's not just a Davidson County problem. And this plan, as it is on paper today, has no regional involvement. It is largely dedicated to a light rail plan. Light rail, the moment you lay an inch of track, you begin to lose flexibility. Nashville's moving forward. It needs a transportation solution that meets that move forward ideas that are part of the city and has the flexibility to accommodate for growth as well.
Okay, and those are all good points. I mean, but we've spent years, they had all these focus groups, and all these gatherings coming up with all the ideas, and this is kind of what they hammered out. Now, you're never going to please everyone, but all right, so if it's not light rail, or maybe it is, depending on where it goes, I don't know. What are your proposals? What are your thoughts as an alternative to what's up there? And is it less expensive? How do you see it?
It's very much less.
Because if you say buses, I'm just going to ask you to leave right now. Because if that's all it was, let's just add more buses. Ain't cutting it.
Buses are part of it.
Absolutely. But anyone's, let's just add more buses.
But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that buses are the only solution.
Okay.
There are a lot of emerging technologies coming onto the marketplace. Already you've seen the impact of the rideshare companies such as Lyft and Uber, and what we don't know is what's the next generation that's coming down the road, but we do know it's coming.
Sure.
We know driverless cars are coming. We also know there's going to be an explosion of electric vehicles. So our problem with this plan is not that they didn't listen, they did. They didn't hear it. And it is a look-back plan. It is yesterday's technology instead of tomorrow's solutions. There are a number of emerging technologies coming onto the marketplace. This doesn't account for any of those. Buses, yes, you have to look at buses. They have to be part of the equation. It's not 100% of the equation, but they're part of it. And you can do buses today.
Sure, but the emerging technologies, and I understand, you're right, it's amazing how things are changing, but what you seem to describe to me is just adding more congestion to our existing roads. Saying electric cars is just, okay, well, they're still going to be on the roads, and that's my biggest problem, is getting stuck in traffic. I want something that's not susceptible to some idiot that causes a wreck in front of me, and then I'm sitting in traffic for 2 hours.
This plan, as it's priced today, over the life of the plan, is set at $9 billion.
Okay.
Not $1 of that helps any existing road.
Okay.
We think there has to be a more comprehensive look, taking into account exactly what you said. No matter what, you could put the best bus, light rail, monorail, subway, flying car, you name it, and there are people who are still going to drive.
Sure, you're right.
This does not take into account any of their problems.
Yeah.
And no matter how good you want this system to be, or how well thought out and well designed, nowhere in this plan does it talk about the people who are still going to be in their car, which goes exactly to the point you just made. You drive in here every morning. You don't want to be bothered by a wreck. What we think they need to go back to the drawing board and look at is, what do you do with existing roadways to make them more accommodating?
And I see that, sure, and I love that idea, but I just think now, again, you may not like the idea of the light rail, but I mean, by offering these other options, you don't have to. Yeah, you have to maintain the roads, but there's going to be fewer people on the roads if they're taking a good light rail system. So you're talking about, it's not going to be as crowded. All of a sudden, it's going to be a lot less crowded because people like me are going to be taking light rail instead of driving my car.
Across the last 2 quarters, light rail systems across the country are showing decreases in ridership. One reason is people are taking advantage of ride sharing. Okay. And they're looking at other alternatives such as carpooling. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you the kind of thinking we think Nashville needs to look at. Arlington, Texas, not as big as Nashville. It's wedged in between Fort Worth and Dallas. They got rid of their bus system. They embarked upon a public-private partnership with an on-demand ride company. So instead of a bus, you now have the ability for $3 a ride, $10 a week, to get in a Sprinter-type van, and go much the same way a bus would. It's not going to pick you up everywhere you are, but it's going to have a lot more stops and be a lot more flexible. 97% approval. The mayor of Arlington, who I think is really forward-thinking, said we got to get rid of this. We got to try something new. We have to look ahead. And now it's been so successful. They're now looking at expanding it in other parts of Arlington and to start to do the connection with the cities that are packed up against it. Unlike here, you draw a box around Davidson County, that's where their plan stops. Mm-hmm. Done, and no regional coordination. I think what the city has done is embarked upon if you build it, maybe they will come.
Yeah, isn't that kind of the argument that they're saying?
Maybe they will come.
Maybe Wilson County, maybe Williamson County will connect up to it. Or is that what you're saying?
You're going to ask every resident of Davidson County to pay $52 a month for a strategy based on hope. Yesterday, Nashville Business Journal did an interesting story where the project director of the contractor said, right now, we don't know who's in charge in the city. Is it MTA? Is it Public Works? The city has not decided who's going to drive this project on time and on budget. And they also said all of these transfer points that's on the city's map, well, they may not actually be there. We're not sure where they're going to go. This is if you build it, maybe they will come. Hope we can pass it, and we'll tell you what it's going to be after you approve the money. That's a pretty big leap.
And it's a lot of money.
And it's a lot of money.
All right, well, let's take a break on that note. We've got several phone calls coming in. And again, if you want to join us, 737-7587, if you're for the plan, against the plan. If you have a question for Jeff here, you know, he can try to address it for you. Also, we can take any of your comments if you want to post some right now to Facebook at newschannel5.com. I'll look at those and we'll try to get those on the air as well. So we'll take a break, be back with more right after this.